Tomorrow's success demands more than knowledge, it demands skills, character, and vision. Welcome to Principal Voice Matter. In this episode, we uncover how future skills and holistic education are transforming classrooms into launchpads for tomorrow's leaders. Let's begin. So, good evening, Dr. Sudhanshu, and welcome to Principal Voice Matter.
Good evening, ma'am.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm also doing great, sir. Thank you so much for joining once again. So
Thank
let's
you,
start
ma'am.
with our core topic, which is future skills. And in today's world,
Okay.
education is no longer just about marks, textbook, and exams. It is about the mind, emotions, value, creativity, life skills, or it's more about the mindset, which we are talking about, which we are trying to change through new education policy, or you can say NAP 2020. So, to discuss that we have Dr. Sudhanshu Shekhar Nayak, who is the principal of Podar International School, Pune, and who is the master CBSE trainer as well. So, welcome once again, Dr. Sudhanshu Shekhar Nayak,
Thank
to
you.
Principal
Thank
Voice
you.
Matter. So before starting the core question, sir, as you have mentioned that you are taking the initiative in your school as well, that is about the best tech and skill education. You can say in the school. So just want to understand about what is this initiative you are talking about in the school. Over to you, sir.
Uh, all right. Thank you. Thank you so much for the brief introduction. And I would like to say the word skill itself is very relevant in the context. If you look at the NEP document, which is of 66 pages,
Yes.
and the entire perspective that is there in the NEP 2020 is the movement towards a skill. So when I was working with my PhD thesis, what made me to ponder and explore more is with regard to how we can travel from the skull to skill. And in the end, I'll tell you some word which is probably more relevant today. We have, over the period of time in our education system, we have given a lot of relevance to memorization, a lot of relevance to remembering and understanding. Probably we were very much stuck there for over multiple decades. And as a result of what happened is that we have started realizing that the people who we are producing either out of the school or the universities, or maybe when they go into the corporates or the companies or the organization and institutions, which is actually nation building institutions, we have seen that they are not as effective as they should be. When you look at their academic caliber and when you look at their caliber in terms of performing and giving what is required to the society as well as to their individual self is not very satisfactory. I'm putting the word satisfactory very categorically. I'm not saying they're doing good. I'm not saying they're doing fair. I'm not saying they're doing excellent or they're doing outstanding. I'm saying they're they're just doing something which is satisfactory. Satisfactory itself is a word which is just probably the starting point, right? So the skill will come out of the skull. And if you look at the taxonomy of Bloom's taxonomy, it's the third stage says about the applications. So application is the stage where we see that what skill that we have developed through our education system, through our process of getting educated out of the school, out of the institutions, out of the universities, and ultimately what is that we are putting into practice, the application. That is a huge gap. We are loaded, a lot of stuff is loaded in our mind. There is no doubt about it. If somebody asks us, we can reproduce it. But after reproducing, if somebody asks that where are you going to use this? What use does this subject knowledge do you have in your perspective? Either it's your life or it's your career, it's your profession, it's your relationship, it's your social life, it's your emotional life, or is it something beyond that? So that transition has not taken place. So we are now working towards mapping in my school the skill. You are learning mathematics, say in the 5th standard, whatever concepts that you learn, how is it skill based? How is it applicable in the life? Are you even using 1% of that knowledge in the practical life, which will take you to the next stage? Number one. So what we are doing is that we are making a list of the students. What are they studying? What are the curriculum is there? What are their skill set they are born with? Like something that we are, maybe you are probably born to become a anchor, but that you did not realize when you were in the school.
True.
But you realized much later, where we lost certain prime stages of your life. Probably if you would have realized it when you were just a teenager at 10 years, 12 years, or 13 years, probably you should have started this career from then on. By now, you would have been 20 years or 15 years plus with that particular career. Just imagine what kind of difference you would have brought to the
True.
life of people.
Yeah,
But
because
later on,
that is the age you can experiment.
experiment. We say experiential learning, but without giving any kind of experiential scope to them.
Yes.
We give them only a book. We ask them to, we design the test. Just imagine the test is designed by somebody who is not going to write the test. Right. In fact, the test should be designed by the individual who are going to do it. Let them give them the horizon, how this should be tested, how this should be. As you said, sir, you tell me that what are the things that you have. Depending on that, only you are framing your questions and you are asking me, and then we will lead our discussion.
Yes.
So the first one is the skull, and the next one is the skill, where the application which we are mapping it. And the next one that we will do it is the scaling up. Skill is not enough. Skill over the period of time also needs to be scaled up. Because if it is not scaling, then you will not move, you will be stagnant. As it used to happen in some kind of jobs, I will not say government job or private job, it's equal. And even some people go into a corporate sector, they remain there where they are, where they have joined for years together, they remain there. And they're asking the questions to probably to the company saying that, why am I not growing? You're not growing because you never wanted to grow. You never wanted to ask yourself that what have you done to grow? Like what is that you can give rather than what is that you can demand? So one is skull. So we have moved from the skull. You have to say, thumbs up to us that we have realized that we have moved from the point X. Now we have come to the point Y. We are almost 50% at the point Y. Now we have started thinking of point Z, right? That is the zenith, that is the epitome, that is the scaling up process. That is what we are doing in our school. I'll give you a simple example, which we get practically. You should know that I'm talking so much of theory, then what are we actually doing? We have started a couple of years back a program called the School RJ program,
Okay.
right? The radio jockey. We started it around 4 years before. I discussed with my teachers. They were very hesitant in the beginning, but they said how it will happen. And we did not have a special period for it. We have had the lunch break. During the lunch break, we get around 20-25 minutes of time. We used to see that the students, after 10 minutes of break, there are a lot of discipline and other issues used to crop up. So we started having this RJ movement from our school, where one student becomes an RJ and couple of performers are there who will be performing around the RJ activity. And we end up with a patriotic song or anything related to a festival. Suppose tomorrow is Ashadi Ekadashi, will play something with related to Ashadi Ekadashi. Suppose Diwali is just nearing, we'll play something related to Diwali. If there is Kargil Vijay Diwas, then we'll play something with related to that, so that people are more sensitized. We started that, and that time we used to write the script. The teachers used to write the script. After 1 year, we asked the student to write. Last year, near about 30 to 40 students have created the script. Next year, what we did, the camera recording also used to take place. We have given that camera to also students. Now the script is by the student. The program is conducted by the students. The RJ is students. In every particular RJ program, there are 6 to 7 participants are there who are coming and taking part. What happened there? The skull, what they have done, the skill has come to the forefront. Now we know, out of say 2,000 odd students that I have in my school, we know that there are 150 to 300 students who are having with this skill set. Somebody is a good cameraman, somebody is a good script writer, somebody is a good hairdresser, somebody is a good stylist, somebody is a good disciplinarian, somebody who can organize something. So we have now tapped the skill of the students, and we could proudly tell to their parents that your child is growing up with this particular skill set. So they
That's
don't need
what
to go
the
to.
actual experience in learning, which we talk about a lot.
True. So this is just one such example.
Correct.
Like similarly, we can have multiple examples of like how to discipline. It is the teacher who should not discipline the student. It is the student who should discipline themselves.
Huh. True,
They
because
can
you have
create
given
their
that environment, you have given that, those kind of things. It is
yes,
That's what we say, there is a huge gap into academic and corporate. So that's what in corporate we do. It's a teamwork. Some are good in
yeah,
some work, some are good in work. So they are actually doing those things. Those are the real life skills we are talking about, which you are giving the example.
yeah. It's the life skill as well as uh, there is a magical word that I always use. If the S is in the left side, it is a skill, but if the S is in the right side, then it kills.
Yes.
So either it's a skill which you develop over the period of time, or you put it so delayed that the S actually shifts its position from the left to the right. And now it has taken the capture of your mind. It has just captured you. So now you are nowhere to headway, but you are just moving towards a dead end where you don't have any kind of futuristic approach. You don't see anything growth. You don't see yourself growing. You always see that there are lots of competition coming, but somebody who has enhanced. Just imagine now AI has come. There are some
Yes.
people who have not understood the computer and the language of computer and how to operate something. They will find AI overwhelming, but just imagine somebody who has adapted, like a person like you and me, they will find AI as a blessing because AI
Yes.
can do a lot of work, my work. AI can
Yes.
do my prompting
Saving
saying
a
that
lot of
at five,
time.
AI can just tell me 5:30 you have a meeting. So I just don't need any
It
human
can take
intervention.
the
It can just
notes
pop and say,
even for the meeting as well. It can, even these are the very small things we are talking about. Even from the AI, we can make a complete products also, which can do lots of automation in the works itself. So it's about how we
yeah,
are using that. That's true, and the
true.
powerful point you share, sir. And to with the same question, as you are saying, students entering in today's world will graduate into a world that is changing faster than ever before, and
Yeah.
many of the jobs which we are talking about in the corporate may not even exist yet, while technology or AI, as you are talking about, continue to reshape how we live and how we work. So this raises an important question: what skills will truly matter in the future, and how the school in India can prepare for that?
School in India is you know, nothing different from the schools abroad, but we cannot say that we are lying behind, or maybe we cannot even say that we are moving at a pace which is required. But probably we are in a catch 22 kind of situation, I would say, where we know that the changes are happening, but then some of us are not able to adapt it. Right? The future skills, if I can just put it in double quotes, I would say
Mm.
when a parent comes and asks me, what is that my child should be prepared for in future? I said nothing. So then they look at me and say that that's a very negative connotation. I said, why did I say nothing? Because we do not know what profession will be there 10 years
Yes.
down the lane. So when I say nothing, that means your child is best prepared. The child is prepared. You do not know because it doesn't even rain in the rainy season. It rains only in the winter season. So that means if you're expecting it will rain in the rainy season, you have done enough, but it doesn't rain. But you know that in summer it's not going to rain, but it has rained a lot. So that means whatever you are prepared, actually you're not well prepared. So
Yes.
what you have to do is that you are preparing for all the seasons, and you know that whichever season comes, I'm well prepared. So that means I'm prepared for nothing. But I'm prepared as a person who, whatever comes, I will adapt. Right. So I have that, you know, the thing that I always say today morning while I was asking, if you accept, I think this will be something that will be new for you. I have 21st century has four skills, four main skills: creativity, critical thinking, collaboration, and not communication, effective communication.
Yes.
Communication is not enough, right? So these are 4C. And this 4C, I have done it as 4C. Means जो भविष्य को देख सकता है, who can foresee. These are the 4Cs which will take you ahead. And how will you foresee? Once you foresee, then you have to deal. And it's an acronym. DEAL. What is D? First one is that one of the skill is the digital literacy you need to have. That is the digital literacy, which is a must. Now, what is the next skill that you require? Emotional intelligence. You see what's happening. Children in lowest of the grade, they feel frustrated, they are agitated, they are not able to handle their emotions, right? And what is A? A is again another skill that is emotional skill. It is adaptability. How do you adapt yourself to different situations? And the last one,
Interesting.
and the last one is leadership. Once you foresee and you deal, you're going to lead the way. That's the skill that is required today. You don't give them knowledge. That's why NEP says that there is no hard segregation of any knowledge or any skills. A child can say, I will take economics, I'll take physics. With that, I'll take biology and I'll take computers. He's free to do that. And next year, he says, I'm not interested in economics. Now I'm moving towards more of psychology. He can change his subject. That was not possible a couple of years before. That is even not today possible because there are many universities that why we compare ourselves with advanced countries like Finland and other countries, but then we do not do what they are doing. What
Yes.
is required is not that how are they successful that you can see. That is only tip of the iceberg. 99% underneath that we do not see. So the skill that you require is nothing, but what you need to do is the foresee and the deal. Once you
That's
foresee, then
one
you
of
can deal.
the interesting point I can say I have learned today from this podcast. And I'm
Yeah,
saying I have never thought about it that way, how you answer. So thank you so much for that. So with the same,
most
sir, I
welcome,
was,
ma'am.
researching about this, the changes about the new education policy. So I was reading that China also changed some policy before, after COVID, before 4 years, that they have changed their lots of university program. They have cut down which were not useful in the real life, and then in most of the universities they have implemented majorly this robotics, AI, these kind of skills. And now after 4 years we can see a lots of the universities are giving those kinds of course. We can see a lots of big robots also they're manufacturing, a lots of manufacturing is there. How their one thought or one kind of policy have changed those things in that way. And in India, not from the university, we are trying to implement it from the you can say first grade onwards. So I'm thinking the effect, how the effect will be, because if they can have that effect from the college itself, what if the mindset will be from the first grades or when we enter into the school? As you research a lot about NAP 22, would like to hear from you. So
Uh, Thank you so much, ma'am. And that I think this is one of the most relevant thing that you've asked. It's not about which country is doing what. We need to see what are they doing and how are they doing it, and what are the effect and impact of it. Now, if it is a good impact, even if it's my neighbor who is doing it, I should not mind, replicating it because
yes.
these are good practices, right? So good practices. I think our age-old people never though in the previous times, in the olden times, our ancestors never used to brush their teeth, right? They used to have a datun, right? So, but then we over the period of time we imbibed and we started brushing teeth, and all those things have started coming because it's a global village now because it's merging faster than we can even imagine. If it is merging, before it merges, we need to also adapt. So China, what they have done, probably that is the reason why they are able to produce and they are able to, you know, capture the entire, the globe.
Manufacturing, yeah, and lots of
Manufacturing.
manufacturing.
The saddest point is that in India, we have had something called, for the telephone company, it's the IITs, ITIs, right? The ITIs have completely vanished. Now, what we are talking about is what ITIs used to do it, the skill development. Today, you struggle the most for a plumber, you struggle
Yes.
the most for an electrician, you struggle the most for a technician. An engineer may not be able to solve a problem, but a person who is sitting there in the garage, you will open it up and you will fix it again. You go and ask him what is his education. You will be surprised that he probably has not been to the school at all. He has
Yes.
not gone to any college or any engineering, but then he is able to do it. What is he endowed with? He's developed his skill over and over again. So he has practiced. It's high time that we'll have to do. I'm little happy about the education policy and the changes that has come recently, the kind of changes that has come in our textbooks. It gives me a very, very hopeful kind of picture to me in terms of NEP. It speaks about language being three language. Why? Because first understand your mother language. First you understand your own language. Why Japan and Chinese are very successful, why Germans are successful, they have understood their own language
Yes.
first. They have had huge command. I'm not criticizing any one of us. We are very smart. I think we are all respected across the globe Indians because we adapt to different language very quickly. When we go to another country, we are the most demanding ones that they want to have us in their places for work. But then why that much is not enough? Because those who are going, that is not enough. What we need to do, we need to have those workforce created within us. We need to have people more enterprising. If you see in the recent time, people who are passing out of the school as well as the colleges, they do not want a permanent kind of job. They want to work for multiple jobs. They're not a very fixed mindset. They don't want to go and sit in a particular job. Probably they will do a half of the time this particular job, maybe a couple of years this particular job, and then they will go to another career. So which is actually, it's like a called, we call it as a gig economy, right? Gig economy is what it is, not a fixed kind of economy, where the economy is actually completely getting evolving. So we as an education system, we should need to evolve like China, like Japan. Japan has gone through such a horrifying phase of the war where it started from the completely from the ashes. Now you see Japan as a country where it is today, just because of the skill being respected, just being in the education system, a lot of things have been relevance has been given to what the child learns, where the child is to apply that same thing. Things are changing. It will change, but it is not changing in the magnitude in which it should be changing.
Yes, because even if we talk about that's what you are talking about, implementation, lots of
Yeah,
infra is also not supporting. If let's suppose
absolutely.
you are in Dipodar, so you have your is one of the reputed schools you comes under. So let's forget about the top schools or those schools. What about the normal school? And let's talk about the government school, because NEP is for everyone. So the
Yes,
infra is
yes.
not, that kind of supporting. Even that initiative also come through center government adult tinkering lab. But if you research about that, 50% are not, in the working condition. So
True.
how we can implement? So as a, and even now, just want to understand from your perspective, now CBSE has passed that circular about composite skill lab. There are, we are
Okay.
talking about multiple sector in that, which one you already
Mhm.
implemented as a RJ jockey, which is, I guess, media. So student
Yeah.
learns a lots of thing, and the beauty also you have integrated with that, where students do styling and those, then communications also you have integrated with that. So how all those skills possible as a, because you already have done so many things, STEM or robotics you already have, right? So how these are, going to be implemented in the school in a very easy way?
Uh, you want that implementation, ma'am, in the government schools, or you are talking
No,
about
no,
the
no, I'm
schools,
talking
private?
about the private school right now. Government, I know it is going to take a lots of time, efforts, as well as the mindset. That,
I'm proud
of
to
course,
say
it
that I
is
am.
going to change, because right now, like if I talk about before 10 years, it is the time where, communicate English language was introduced at, I guess, at 6th. But right now it is from the first grade onwards. So of course, once private school are the first movers, but eventually government school will also adopt. It is going to take a lots of time, but we are hoping.
Let me also congratulate, because I work for an organization which is going to complete 100 years next year. So
Okay.
Podar has been established in 1927, and next year it's going to be 100 years.
Oh,
So I've been
congratulations.
associated in this. Thank you so much, and I'm very proud that I have chosen this organization. Not because I'm working here, that's why I'm speaking. We have our branches in the nook and corners of the country where in the remotest of the places, all the district centers, talukas and all, we have our schools.
Huh.
Because we need to reach to the remotest of the places to make sure that those talents are also having the access. Because when I was working in NEP, the one important aspect of these three things, that equity, equality, and inclusiveness, is accessibility. What you said, accessibility to a robotic lab. I think we need to also have sharing capacities. If a nearby school has a particular infrastructure, I remember when we never used to have a library in our school, or we never used to have a lot of multiple newspapers and magazines coming. We used to go to a library and read those newspapers and magazines because those were open for us in the evening. In this context, the better players and the good players like Podar and others should also open up themselves, their infrastructure, their technology to the schools which want to access. Because you never know where the talent is lying there, which
Yes.
talent is sitting where. It might be in a government school, it could be also in a village school, it could be in one of the school which probably do not have even a teacher.
True.
Remember that Abdul Kalamji came from one of the remotest place in Tamil Nadu, right?
And
And
even this, I forgot the name. This Joho honor is also one of the remote
yes,
place itself.
yes. I'm also not making a comparison that only the remotest people, places have the talents. We also have the people, brilliant minds and brains are coming from the metropolitan cities. If
Yes.
it is not, then probably we would not have
Even the
been ruling.
majority is from the metropolitan because they got better opportunity, they got better exposure. Of course.
Exposure. I'm talking about that exposure only. So computer lab, what we have to see, whatever we have, we need to make the best use of it. I'll give you a simple trick. Maybe you don't have a computer lab. Maybe you don't have 20, 30, 40 computers, but you have a computer in the classroom. Can you not make that computer itself as a practical lab? You can easily make. Every day you make sure that four people will come and will practice something using that computer. And you maintain a register. But you give them a chance to do something that you taught in theory. Hello, are you
Yes,
there,
sir.
ma'am?
Yeah. I guess some
I think
network
there is a
issue
little.
from your end. Yes, please continue,
Uh,
sir.
am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Perfect. So I was just saying that that computer can be used. Language lab, you may not have a language lab. As you have said, you can have a world war. You can have the students as your language leaders. You can have a storyteller in your classroom. You can have a narrator in your classroom. You can have somebody who will do an interjection. You can have somebody who can lead, who can rewrite the particular topic is written, and you can ask them. Just imagine that you do not know what is the title of this particular topic. I want 10 of you to sit down, do brainstorming, and let me know what is the new name that we will give it to this particular topic. I think that is where the imagination and all thing happens. And that
I
is
guess
what
that
21st
that is
century
what NAP20 is talking about. It is not
talking
about
about that.
infra, it is not about system. If you want to teach AI, if you don't have the system, just through the shapes, through those things you can teach AI. That's what
Ma'am,
I guess NAP.
as they say, that's all about the attitude of a teacher and students and the community together. So when we say
Yes.
competency, it's actually corely lives on three aspects. One is knowledge, second is skill, which we spoke in the beginning, right?
Just give me 1 second, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Please continue.
Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. One is the knowledge, second is skill, third in the most important thing is the attitude. The reason why both of us are sitting here, we have a right attitude towards to give something, to create something, to explore something, to find something new and to contribute more than what is required. Otherwise, it's 5:30. Why are we sitting here and talking? And we are talking on something we do not know whether it is going to give any kind of result or not. But who knows? With a positive attitude, knowledge plus skill plus attitude gives you competency. But that
True.
attitude is missing. It will not give you competency. It will only create another robot. So the robot will only produce certain things which is already being programmed. But that attitude is what will make the difference between the robot that will create in future, which could be always will be called as a robot, and the robot has to be programmed, reprogrammed, and also I won't have any hesitation to say some of us after sometimes treat ourselves as robots. We do not enhance ourselves. We don't do not upgrade ourselves. We do not scale up ourselves. We don't read. We don't apply. We don't think. And once we think, we don't reject our own thinking. And that is not rejection. That is basically reflection. Did I do a good job? No, I don't think I did a good job. I can do a better job. And that's how the things are going to be. And I'm sure the though India's 80% of the schools and educations are in the remotest places where the government have contributed, we have produced the best of the engineers, the best of the scientists in the past out of the government schools. They have that trust. What we need to do is that over the period of time, we need to upgrade ourselves. We need to give those technologies, like the way Abdul Kalam ji used to have that, you know, that thing in his cycle, and he used to think that one day I will be able to make the space program for the country. He did it, and he ultimately was called as the missile man. So we need to have that thought process and keep on working on those skills.
Yes,
And
I think, sir, I'm
what
learning a lot because, I today I'm talking to the person who have done lots of research, who know the right framework, and in place of 30 minutes something like I should continue talking about. I must say I'm learning a lot. I'm getting a lots of knowledge, and definitely, as you say, whoever is going to listen this podcast, they are going to learn a lot. What to implement, what
yes,
not to implement, and how to implement. That also matters.
true, ma'am. True. Thank
So
you.
as you talk about exposure, you're talking about, that you are looking for some international things for yourself as well, because you want to that the kind of person you are, that you are learning something, you are upgrading yourself, and that's what we are talking about for student as well. So what are your thought about these kind of exposure for the students, how they are going to add value, like at national level competition framework or international level? So how they are going to add value in the students?
Uh, Thank you, ma'am, for this particular question. And as you said, the word exposure, I would say education should be the word education should be replaced with the word exposure. Uh, Also, secondarily, I always say that the word learn. Many platforms have spoken, but I would like to speak here also. I'm not against the earn, but the L is in the beginning. Let us not neglect the L. First, we need to learn, and then we can easily earn. You have done that hard work. That's why you are sitting here and you are making your bread and butter. I'm also doing the same thing. What we have to do is that get ourselves exposure to the different places. Do not feel shy. Do not compare yourself with what happened 20 years back. 20 years back, there was a different mobile set. 20 years back, people used to dress up differently. 20 years back, people used to eat differently. 20 years back people had different, completely different tastes for different food habits, for clothings. Today, people don't have any innovation in wearing some kind of clothes and some kind of rejecting something and blending the old and the new, the traditional as well as the modern, and making it an ultra modern. Today, somebody is not minding that I don't have a vision problem, but I want to have a glass. I want to look a little different. That's perfectly fine. That's absolutely fine. As long as you're productive, feel happy, you feel good, you should do that. So we need to upgrade. How we should not be upgrading? If you're not upgrading, you look at our road transport. It has changed dramatically. But
Yes.
let us look at the positive part of it. I'm not going to look at the negative part of it. We have improved in terms of our infrastructure. Look at the number of universities that has come. Look at the number of central universities that have we have created.
Even so, the exposure which we are talking about, robotics lab, AI lab, these were not
Yeah.
the part before 20 years. right? These
So
were the part of engineering colleges. And even now this skill lab we are talking about, where textile is one part, apparel is one part, media is one part, then these robotics, AI, electronics, mechatronics is one part. These were all the engineering kind of skills. But right now we are, trying to lots of skill, even the good private schools are already implementing. But still, the now these are the part of our system in the school itself.
I'm extremely happy for the government that we have and the education policies. I do not want to go to small things, what keeps happening. I'm not criticizing, neither I'm complimenting anything. What I would like to say is that we need to have a progressive approach, number one. Number two, though it has this NEP has come in the time of pandemic, but we never look back. Look back. We have accepted it. Now things are changing. I would like to thank also CBSE for being a CBSE principal and being their resource persons, the modules that they implement, and the approach that they have. Recently, we have had something called sports and games in the front line. That it should be given lots of relevance, because you could see that people get educated, they get good jobs, but their life and longevity is a big question mark. Either they are not fit enough to continue in the office, they are not able to contribute. The lifespan has reduced a lot because of our lifestyle. Second thing is that CBSE is now sending principals of different schools for an exposure visit to the different universities. They want us to go and experience how the universities are functioning, how the things are. I was part of this exposure visit to IIT Hyderabad last year, and this year I was at LPU, Lovely Professional
LPU,
University.
okay.
I
And
was
most probably, sir,
really
with us also, we are planning to have our annual summit either in IIT Delhi or in IIM Amritsar.
I was
So
literally very, very, very impressed with IIT Hyderabad, where I have gone, where independently students are working there with those kind of infrastructure, as you spoke last, that infrastructure is the key. We have been taken for a campus round where I could see that students were opting agriculture as their the professions, or they want to do something in agriculture. Maybe they're biology students and they're doing in genetics, and you're working on those areas. They have been given a piece of land, they're growing crop, they're monitoring the development of crop, they know how to safeguard the crop, how to make sure that the crop can be sustainable in future. We are talking about, again, another word which is very key to my life, I would say, for everybody. The word that is, it's a boomerang today, is sustainability. Everybody is talking about sustainable education, sustainable energy, sustainable life, sustainable blah, blah, blah. It's all about sustaining things only. But then what are we doing for sustainability? Right? Are we sustainable even 10 years down the lane, 20 years down the lane, 30 years down the lane? Our Pradhan Mantri ji keeps talking about India at 2047. 2047, that is the vision where we have to see ourselves, where we should be, because we are now one of the world leader. But when I was visited there, I have been informed, and I am very glad that I'm sharing, that only 5% of the Indian manpowers are employable, skill wise, quote unquote. That means 95% of us are not employable. Means before we get employed and get to give something to the organization and institutions, we have to be trained again. Whether we are an IITian or a doctor or anybody else or an IT field, you go inside, first 6 months and 1 year, it is your gestation period. The company actually trains you completely before you start producing anything for that particular product. So as a result,
that's what
I
even
was,
companies now are not taking the pressure, because that skill or that mindset is not there.
but that's very harsh. What I'm saying is
Yes,
that it is not the fault of the student. When they are
that's what.
studying there,
Yes,
you have to see what kind of job they will fit in, give that kind of training
that
early
kind of
on, so that,
exposure.
which we call it as mapping, right? You map it. If there is a gap, try to fill up that gap. Have more industry oriented programs. Ask the industry professional to come to your schools and colleges and give them the exposure that what is. Let them speak to somebody who has been a pilot for last 15 years before they even think of going and working as a pilot. Ask a crew members to speak to your students that what is the life of a crew member, that you land here and another flight is just waiting for you. And then your mother calls, probably you will not be able to take the call. Are you prepared for that particular life? Are you ready skill wise, mind wise, and as an attitude? Are you ready? Are you doing it as a mechanical thing because ab to karna hi hai? No, I have to do it because this is what I have taken. This is the job that I have taken. So the skills that we have to do as we have compared with others thing, I think exposure is a must. Exchange programs should also be there with a lot of countries, be it Germany. People go after completing their graduation or after completing their 11th and 12th, they go to countries like Germany. German has a lot of people who go and study, and some of them never come back. So our best talent go and settle there. So we have to settle with whatever we have. But that's not fair because our own people should be more beneficial to us than outside. As you said, that Jovo, they have gone outside, but they realize that probably in our country itself, we can do a lot. We can do a lot. If an Indian can go and do a lot, so much of difference outside, that person can also do a lot of difference in our country. But we need to accept that, we need to give that support to them. And we also need to give them support in such a way that they, until they succeed, we should support them. I'm talking about the education system. I'm
Yeah.
talking about the professionals who are grooming them. I'm talking about the industries to work very closely with the universities and schools. I'm talking about certain modules which should be implemented. If you go to Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya and all, they have real practical programs. This Pradhan Mantri, you know, programs, which is basically for the Navodaya Vidyalayas. These are Pradhan Mantri's programs which is being run and catered to. So they do a lot of practical things. They design a lot of machines where they are working. One of the future skills you said is written is called drone trafficking. Maybe the traffic police will be missing. Maybe you will not have cars because the roads are blocked, because the roads are not going to exist. Maybe 20 years down the lane, there will be so much of cars that you cannot even drive from anywhere to anywhere. So you have to dump that. So you remember, we have had browsing center, we had Nokia, then we had BlackBerry. Now we are in the
Yes.
iPhone. I don't know 10 years down the line which phone will be there. All right. And
Yeah.
which manufacturer will be there to take care of our,
That
daily
it's more about innovations
needs.
as well. With time, we need to, adapt those changes, and we need to innovate as per the
Ma'am,
as the time changes.
even innovation is also, I too always play around with word. It's innovation. That means in continuous ovation process means you are ready to change, evolve.
Yes.
Innovation means you
Yeah,
are
it's
ready to
not the
evolve
one,
to the
and
next
it's
thing.
not the one time activity. It should be, the part of your regular. And sir, you are talking about this international exchange program that, those program ultimately will benefit the student. But when, I was also talking about the other educators, we cannot have it, offline because there is, that limitations also about the, you can say, budget and all those things. But what if we can have, monthly exchange program online? That also, I think, can benefit the student because they are going to share their thought, they are going to exchange the ideas what in for example, with the Germany itself, they are going to exchange the idea what is happening in Germany and how things are taken there and how in India. So what are your thoughts on that?
That is an outstanding idea. Hybrid mode. Wherever it is possible, I would not say that when you go physically see a place and what you experience can be compared with when you, online you do something. But if it is not possible for you, because financially, economically, also you have to see that whether you have a sponsor or can you afford that money or not. Online is the best way. You can connect with people, and people are ready to connect globally. Now, there is so much of flexibility in terms of educational world. You can have best of the lecturers, professors teaching you. Probably you can listen to them. There are so many platforms where people freely are available and they're giving. Maybe this will be circulated through your channels to podcast to people. They have not They're not going to pay anything to me. I'm not worried that I should be given anything. But then if they listen and if this can be of any use to them, I think that's the thing, the reward that I have received.
Yes.
In the similar way, there are so many people who are working selflessly across the world, and they have so many best practices which has to be adapted and imbibed in different structures. You said about China, we spoke about Germany. Majority of the Indians go for their education now to Germany. So why? Because Germany, not only you can go and work there, but there are so much of certifications now. Secondly, I would say that instead of even going to Germany and any other country, CBS itself has so many self-designed modules which you can actually just download and you can just go through it and you read it and you can enhance your competency. The similar way, even there are so many online things are there available which you can avail from a foreign country, from a country which is you cannot visit, but you can always have that access. You talk to them. How do they handle certain situations? What are the kind of job roles that they have? What clarity they have? How do they manage things? What is the structure of their working? What is the economics of their working? These are the things that we need to learn. How do they manage their social life? As we say, lifestyle, the management. So everybody is talking about lifestyle. I would rather put, this is also again another word. First have the life, then you can think of the style. So we are not even worried about the life. First you give yourself a life. Give yourself a chance. Then the style automatically follows you. Right? A
Yes, sir.
Shahrukh Khan, like a person like Shahrukh Khan, he did not think that one day that he will become a superstar. Amitabh Bachchan did not know that he will become a mega star. He
Yes.
never knew. He just kept on working towards those things. They went and worked with different people. They traveled. They did a lot of hard work. And they try to learn from multiple sources. That exposure is required. I think online is a blessing. And in the age of AI, it's a super duper blessing, I would say. It's a super duper mega blessing, I would say. But the only thing that you have to do is just whatever you are using, be very careful. I would not say mindful, be very careful that what access are you giving, whom are you talking, what are you talking, and why are you talking, and what is that you are going to get in the end.
Yes.
So, what input that you are acquiring, where it will be getting processed, and ultimately what will be the output of it. I hope I
Yes, sir.
made the
Yes,
right
yes, yes,
points.
sir. And you have, thank you so much for sharing your experience and insight with us. And as we were talking about, we cover lots of aspect about future skills, how to implement, what are the skills should be implemented, and you have given some real examples as well. So today's conversation even remind us that preparing students for the future is not about, the new subjects. It is about how we can help them developing new skills about their
Yes.
mindset, or you can say you talk about that a adaptability need to be there in that world. So before closing the conversation or the podcast, my last question to you, just give one message about future skill, like which can be uh, helpful for the principal perspective.
Uh, One, it's not an advice which I think I imbibe within me. Whether you are a toddler or you are a professional or you are somebody like me who has worked in this industry for so many years, the rule remains the same. Number one is that be very hopeful. Okay. Future is not going to rub anything from you. Future is actually for you. So what you need to be futuristic, right? Number one. Number two, ensure that you prepare well and give lot of focus to the processes that you follow. Do not worry about what ultimately it will produce. The processes are right. The product will be 100% right. You can give an example of any kind of recipe also. If you want to prepare dosa, if you want to prepare idli, you need to have those ingredients in place, which will produce that particular product. So I'm talking about the process. I'm talking about being futuristic. If you're not hopeful about having a good breakfast, then you will not get the good ingredients for it. You will not be very minutely careful. I would say don't worry about the future and the job and the career. Rather be worried about what you have in your hand. Do it well. Give your 100%. Be very smart and efficient and make sure that whatever you do, you make an impact, not for others, but to yourself. First, you should be happy. I'm sure everybody else will be getting a lot of happiness from what you do. The
Very
hope
impactful
that
message,
you
sir.
have, the hope that you have will give an impact to others. The smile that you have will give an impact to people that your smile is true and it is impactful. Keep smiling and help ensure that whatever you do, you should enjoy. Don't look at others' eyes and say that no, they are not enjoying. Once you enjoy, I think everybody will enjoy that.
Wonderful,
Thank you,
sir.
ma'am.
And I must say, one of the impactful message you have given today. And thank you so much once again for joining the podcast and taking out the time. And thank you
Thank you, ma'am.
everyone who watching Principal Voice Matters. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And see you in the next episode. Thank you so much once again, sir.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure me being here. And thank you all the people who are going to listen to this. If anything that I have said that you do not agree or you don't like it, it's just my opinion and my statement. We will work together, and I'm sure as much as you listen from me and you are going to learn something from here, I'm eager to listen from each one of you. We learn together, we grow together, and we glow together. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
definitely. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.